Hi everyone, today I'm going to go over unboxing the Rondo 3. I received two of them and they both arrived in this super larger than expected box actually. So I'm going to open the box here, kind of go through the bubble wrap, and I see that they actually came in two backpacks. Each Rondo package actually came in its own backpack, actually. Today we're going to just uncover one of the backpacks and the content will be identical. Also, it looks like the packing clip is included here as well. So, let's unbox, have some fun. Now the contents of this box, of the backpack, will contain the options that I selected in the order, or the pre-order. So it looks like the first thing here is the audio link. So I chose the audio link instead of the Artone 3 neck loop option, because I already have an Artone 3 Max neck loop, and I can order it at any time or get the replacement. The Artone neck loop is about $130, and the audio link is more expensive than that. So, given that insurance is helping pay for it, it will. I thought I would get more bang for my buck by getting the audio link. We'll go over the audio link later. The audio link obviously has Bluetooth connectivity and allows me to connect directly to the Rondo 3. In the next box, looks like that's included in the backpack here, is the Rondo 3 processor itself and the components. And then it looks like inside a little pocket here there are some additional material. This looks like this is the instruction guide and whatnot. I'll open this really quick so you can see, and it has all the content, or MRI safety card, and any other pertinent information that's needed to get started. So we'll go through that a little bit later. We'll go through the more exciting part. Lots of components here. So let me just go through each. Let me take each out at the same time and show everything that's included. Alright, I think I got everything out, so I'm going to go ahead and set the backpack aside. And it looks like so I have a Rondo 3 ebony cover. So I picked the ebony cover, and I believe there are 4. It says that there are 4 in here. So they gave me extra covers for the outside of the Rondo, which is great. And I believe if you can order different color covers without changing the whole processor unit itself. So really, really cool. Then we have the audio processor tool and brush to help keep it clean. Then we have the magnet system. So I elected to get the Magnet 5, which is the strongest strength that you can get, because I actually have thick skin and some thick hair, and so the Rondo does come off easier on my particular head. I do suggest, most people do not like to get that strong of a magnet, because it can be painful pinching the skin between the implant and the outside of the skin where the Rondo is pressing against the skin. So that can be painful if you get too strong of a magnet. And then finally, I don't know what this is, but this is the magnet exchange tool. We'll go into this later, but it looks like this allows you to exchange the magnet out of the Rondo. So lots of fun here. So I'm going to put these boxes aside for a second. Let's first open the less interesting box. I already have an audio link, but we're just going to go ahead and open it anyway for the sake of fun. We'll save the best for last. So as you can see, all the information here, serial numbers and whatnot, is outside of the box. And then we'll open this box here. So this is actually sealed to make sure that no one else has opened it. So I'm gonna go get a box cutter really quick. All right, so I'm gonna lightly cut this open and see what's in here. So here we see that it looks like this got moved a little bit. And so we have the audio link device on the outside, and then we have the components. We have the audio link cable kit, the audio link docking station, the battery that you attach the audio link to, and the power supply to charge the battery itself. Cool. So I'm gonna put this back in the box. Set this aside. And now for the Grand Poobah, which is the actually Rondo 3 itself. You can see it's sealed to make sure it hasn't been tampered with, and all the extra information that you need. So I'm gonna go ahead and lightly cut this here and here to preserve the box as much as possible. And we're going to open. Ooh, okay. So here's the actual Rondo. Okay, so here's the actual Rondo itself. And I can see, I thought this was attached, but it's actually, there's a magnetic piece of material behind the cardboard here to keep the Rondo in place during shipping. Pretty cool, actually. All right, so I'm gonna set this aside real quick, and let's see what came in the box itself. So it looks like a Rondo 3 single processor audio unit quick guide came. Then inside of this little handy dandy case, looks like the charging. I think this is the charging base. Oh, this is the cool one. Okay, so basically, it's a rechargeable, there are rechargeable batteries inside of the Rondo 3. So what's really cool is that it's completely wireless. There's no wires engaged whatsoever. So all you need to do is just place the Rondo, it looks like face down, so that it's charging. This is the correct way to do it, as they show. You don't want to face it upside down, because if you do, it won't be charging properly at all. Pretty cool. All right, set this aside here. And then this looks like this is the charging base. And this is air charge, much like what the iPhones have now. And so you definitely want to put it here, and it is magnetic. So this is how you want to charge it and charge your Rondo here. And here's the little cable to plug into the power adapter. And definitely you want to charge it. I think it goes this way. Haven't done it yet, but we'll get into that later. All right. And then here's the little cable that goes with the unit. So pretty cool. They give you a little case to put the charging pad on. So we'll go ahead and close that up and then put that away as well. So also in the box, lots of stuff here, so as you can see. So in the box, you have the, I've been looking forward to this one. Can't wait to try out this new toy. So this is the Fine Tuner Echo. So if you don't, there's a way to control these processors, using a remote control. The old remote control basically looked like this, which is the old Fine Tuner. This Fine Tuner, I believe, does not work with the Rondo 3, so this is not what you want to use. Also, there's no display on here. So you can't really tell what mode you're in or anything like that. Metal has improved the remotes to where you have this really, really cool remote with a display that has indicators, your battery level, what program you're in, what your volume and sensitivity settings are set to, and so forth. So I can't wait to try this bad puppy out. All right, so I'm gonna put this one away for a moment. I'll put it right down here. Also included is the Rondo 3 clip set. I believe it allows you to clip it So in case it comes off away from your magnet or your implant, the clip will kind of help it not fly away. I believe you can clip it to your shirt or your hair, and this is just an empty box just to keep this box in place for shipping. Alright, I believe that's everything in this layer. So now I'm gonna remove this top box, and then look like the second layer includes all the documents on how to operate your Rondo 3. So we'll quickly open this really quick. It looks like there's some extra contents in here as well. So let's see here. So we have contact information. We have the audio processor user manual, medical procedures in case you need to get an MRI. And then, okay, so we have the grip wear that's included, and then also the water wear for the Rondo 3. The water wear, I believe, help protect, and there's 9 of them, help protect against water. I've never used them before, so I can't really get too much into that, but all the materials are on the Metal website about that. And also the grip wear. Not really sure what the grip wear does yet, but I'll get into that later as well. We'll put everything back in here. Close this up. Now we're going to get into the bottom layer here. I think it's the bottom layer anyway. Alright, so here we have the power supply for the charging base. And here, I believe this is an empty box to keep things in place. Here we have the Fine Tuner Echo accessories. These are accessories for your Fine Tuner to control your Rondo 3. And then we have the Rondo 3 telecoil adapter and case. So this is the adapter that allows you to use the telecoil for telephone conversation when you switch into telecoil mode. And this is everything that's included in the packaging. Okay. This here is the processor order form. And what I did here is I selected the Rondo 3, which is right here. And then I picked the, I have a Synchrony implant, so I chose this option. And then I picked the ebony because my hair is brown. It's close to that color. The magnet strength that I picked is actually a 5 because I need the stronger magnet. Again, be really careful about which strength you get. It could be painful if the magnet is too strong. Connectivity, you could pick either between the Audio Link or the Artone 3 Max neck loop. I opted for the Audio Link. And then these are all the standard accessories that come along with the Rondo 3. When you send this off to Metal, they will process your order, and if you have insurance, they will work with your insurance program to see what reimbursement you can get from your reimbursement specialist at Metal. First thing we're going to do is we're actually going to unbox the power supply, and so we can start charging the Rondo 3. Okay. Of course, we have all the different plugs for all of the different countries. Lots and lots of options here. Because I'm in the United States, I'm picking the 110 adapter for the United States. I'm gonna put the rest of these back in the box. And what you do here is you want to look to see where the opening is here, and you want to slide the opening down toward the end of the adapter until it snaps into place. Okay, we're gonna put this box away. All right, so now we're gonna take the charging base out. From the center here. Okay, good. Really cool, really cool. This has like a little rubber ring in there. I think this is to help hold the processor, the Rondo 3 in place. Then we're gonna pull out the cable. Gonna undo this. So it looks like one end is what's called the USB-A adapter, and then the other end is what's called a micro USB connector. So the micro USB connector is actually what plugs into the Rondo 3. Now, just keep in mind here that this micro USB cable, excuse me, the one side is shorter or smaller than the other. So make sure that the shorter, so it lines up to here. The shorter end obviously is toward the top of the adapter, so make sure you plug it in that way, and voila. All right, the other end, the USB-A, actually goes into the power adapter, like this. And then what you do is you plug this in the wall. Now, actually, after plugging it in, it looks like, and by the way, this on the side is a little light indicator here. So when I first plugged it in, you'll see it blink orange and green and orange again, and then that means you have power to it. We'll put this down, and then put this down right here. And now you see the light here that it's actually charging the Rondo. You definitely want to make sure that you see that this light is on so that it's charging. It also looks like the light here on the side is actually red. And I'm thinking that red means it's not charged yet, and it might change to green. We'll get back into that one later. Now again, this is the wrong way. You do not want the Rondo faced up. And if you have it faced up, notice that the light actually turned off on the side here. So you want to make sure that you actually face the outside of the Rondo down, and then you'll see the light turn on. Voila. And this little light turns on in the Rondo itself as it's charging. So while this is charging, let's open up some of these other boxes to see what's included. So this is the Rondo 3 clip set, and cool little quick guide here. So you can actually, so right here it looks like you attach it to the side of the Rondo 3 here. And this is the grip right here. It looks like it holds on to the bottom of it. And then the clip, you can clip it to your shirt, or the tiny little clip, actually you can clip to your hair, I believe. So here are the larger clips. You can see the little fish wire for each of these. And this is the grip. This is the plastic piece that attaches to the Rondo itself. And then this is the actual little hair clip that you can use that attaches to the plastic attachment as well. Again, the telecoil adapter allows you to use telecoil if you want with the Rondo 3. It's not built in. I don't see myself using this particular device probably unless I'm using the Artone 3 Max. And the only reason being is because the audio link that comes with the package basically gives you everything you need to connect Bluetooth to your mobile phone. But in the event that you do want to use telecoil, you can use this and with the adapter. So here we have the Fine Tuner Echo. and battery. And then we have the Fine Tuner Echo accessories. So I'm going to open the actual, I've already opened the Fine Tuner actually. And here's the battery to attach to it. We're going to try this ourselves. So what I like to do when I open these packages, instead of cutting this open to do it, an easy way to do this is you could just kind of bend the paper a little bit, like this, and then slide it out of the packaging. Okay, we don't have a battery yet, as you can see. So we need to open one of these batteries. It looks like it takes a CR232 type of battery. These are very common, easy to find at your local drugstore, Target, Walmart, whatever you have nearby where they have lots of batteries. I'm gonna go ahead and try not to cut myself. Open this battery here. And let's see, so as you can see from this little diagram here, that the positive side, I think, goes down. Nope. Positive side is the bottom side. So the positive side is facing up. And it looks like you want to tuck it in here underneath this little lip here so that this stays in place. Put this down for a second. I'm going to open the cover out of the packaging. And it looks like, oh, this isn't, so this looks like a little rubber ring, I think. I'm guessing, I don't know. I think this rubber ring actually goes on the outside to kind of hold it tight in place. Wait, also you see the little arrow. I don't know if you can see this in the camera, but there's a tiny little arrow right here. You want to line up the arrow to where it shows unlock with a little unlock symbol right here. And then you want to twist this in place. So I suggest maybe getting a quarter or something to twist this in place. And then I'm actually able to do it without a quarter. And so now it's lined up. So the lock position, so the arrow should be in the lock position. And then, now you can see that it's actually turned on. And it's waiting for us to pair with the Rondo or your Sonnet in this case. So for the sake of example, what I'm going to do is I have Sonnets right now, so let's see if this works with my Sonnet as well. So I'm going to take off the Sonnet. Make sure that you power off the Sonnet by removing the battery cover. Place the magnet over the processor, right? And then shove the battery cover back in to turn it back on. And voila, I see a flashing green icon with the check mark in the display. That means the left, and now you can see this left signal right here. Oh, cool. This is actually paired with my left processor. So I'm going to remove this. I'm going to put this back in my ear. And now I'm going to pair my right processor since I'm bilateral. So take this out. Remove the battery cover. Sometimes these things are a little bit tricky to take out, so you kind of want to wiggle it out. There we go. So now I have the battery cover removed, right? Now, again, place the magnet over the little keypad here, and it'll stay, it's magnetic. And then close the battery cover to turn it on, and then it begins the little pairing process. And then you actually see that, oh, check mark, and I've now paired with this Fine Tuner Echo. Also, what's really cool is as I'm talking, you can see that the green light is turning on, meaning that the microphone in the Fine Tuner is actually picking up my voice. So when I stop talking, the green light wasn't on, and now it's on since I'm talking my head off. Okay, so I'm gonna take this off and put it back in my ear. All right, So quickly with the fine tuner, as you can see, so now that this is paired with my processors, I can actually turn the volume down on both, and as you can see, the volume levels are going down and I can barely hear myself. So I'm going to turn this back up so I can hear myself again, and you can see that it's actually going up. This is actually my first time using the fine tuner echo, so I don't know all the nuances and all the ins and outs. Oh, also, I believe this is a sensitivity where you want to increase the bubble or the sounds, the faraway sounds, and bring them in. If you want to increase the sensitivity to hear things further away, you turn this up, and as you can see, this bubble is actually getting bigger so I can hear further away sounds. Now, if I want to only keep sounds so close to me that I want to hear, like in background noise, for example, if there's too much background noise and I only want to hear the people around me, I can actually turn down the sensitivity button right here. Again, these are the sensitivity. I want to decrease the bubble circle, and you can see the little bubbles are actually getting smaller to where I will only hear the sounds or the people or the voices near me. Pretty cool. This, I think, changes between the 4 programs that are programmed within my processor. So if I pick this, you can see that the second dot is filled in, so I'm on the second of 4 programs. Push it again. There we go. Now I'm in, now I'm out of sync here because I couldn't communicate with one of my processors, right? So what happened was, my left processor is in program 4 and my right one is in program 3. So I got to figure out how to, I think the way to do this too is, if you do have a problem, is to turn off one processor so that they're in sync. So if I want to only control the right one, actually you can set this right here. So say I only want to control the right processor. So you press this button here to say I only want to control the right processor, right? Now we're going to change the right processor to the 4th program. Now both are in the 4th program. Now I want to control both processors at the same time. Push the middle button here. So now both processors are actually in program 2, as you can see at the second one right here. Pretty cool. Now the MT button, as you know, allows you to switch from telecoil versus, so M means, hearing everything around you. T means telecoil only, hearing only over the telecoil for voice. And then MT is a combination of hearing both telecoil and your environmental sounds. So if I press MT here, it moved my left one to MT. Let me try again. Oh, I forgot. See this little symbol here? I'm only controlling the left processor here. So, oops. Let's switch the left processor back so both are M. I'm going to press this middle button here to say I want to control both processors. And you'll see that now both circles, half circles, are filled in, meaning that I'm going to control both processors at the same time. So if I press MT again, now they both say MT, meaning I can hear both sounds around me and also pick up on telecoil signals. If I press it again, both are in T level and I cannot hear myself. As you can see, it's definitely a step up from the old fine tuner. You have a much better visual. Again, you can also get this kind of visual using your iPhone, using the Audio Key app as well. Because I have the Sonnet one, the Audio Key cannot communicate to my processor directly. I believe you do need to use the audio link as the medium between the processors and the fine tuner echo. So between the Audio Key app, not the fine tuner echo can communicate directly with my processors. Pretty cool stuff. So I really don't need this one anymore. I like the more cooler technology over here. So now we are going to open the audio link. Now the processor, or the actual device unit itself, the main unit, is separate from the battery. So don't be alarmed by this, by the way. So I'm going to set this down for a moment. And the first thing I'll want to do is actually remove the battery and attach the battery to the audio link. So I'm going to cut this open. Take this out, and oh, this is really important. I'll get into this in a second. You definitely want to keep this piece so that you can, if you need to separate the main unit from the battery, this is what you use to open the case to prevent any damage. I'll get into this one in a second. Okay, so again, you can actually just bend this open a little bit, and you can slide this battery right out like this. I'm going to put this aside. I'm actually going to get the audio link. So this is the main unit, and this is by the way, Metal periodically does firmware updates. So if they do ask you what firmware update you have, or if you don't know, or if you don't even know the serial number, for example, I believe the serial number the serial number is definitely outside of the box. The serial number information will actually be right here, and as you can see, this is my serial number right here. And also the firmware version is actually listed on the label, and as you can see here, I have a revision 4.0.1. I happen to know that this is the latest version that's provided by Metal. Alright, so as you can see, we have the two different pieces here. We have the control unit, the main unit here, and then we have the battery on the bottom. You want to make sure that these pins here line up with the gold plates over here, right? And I believe the best way to do this is to align the bottom of the unit first, tuck it in there, and then snap the top into place. And that's how you assemble the unit here. Okay, now let me get back to this piece, this plastic piece here. In the event that you need a new battery, or if you need to send this control unit back to Metal, they do not want the battery, no. What they do want is the control unit. So what you do here is you save this piece. This helps you open. This is the opening tool. This helps you separate the main unit from the battery. There'll be a little notch at the top here. And what you want to do is you kind of push it in there, and then make sure that you slide it across. And voila. And again, do not send the battery to Metal. This is what you want to send in case you need to return it for warranty repairs or what have you. Let's take a look at the magnet exchange tool. Cool. I believe what this allows you to do, and again, I haven't even looked at the manual yet, so it's not too hard, but it can be intuitive. But I believe what this allows you to do is to remove the magnet and exchange it for another magnet. Say you have a magnet with different strengths or something like that. So, okay, so as you can see here, there's a little bit of a lock, meaning that when this notch is locked up to the lock, that means the magnet is locked into place. And so what you want to do here is you want to line up. So see, there's a little arrow right here that's actually pointing up. I think this is going to be the right side up. This is where you want to point to where the lock is, and this also indicates the lock position. So you line up the pins with the holes in here, put this in here, turn it, right? And then you'll be able to take the magnet out, and you can exchange the magnet. Now, to put the magnet back in place, of course, you want to line up the pin to where the lock is, and then put this in here. Now, I do want to call out that these are 3 dots here. I believe what that means is this is the default magnet that comes with the Rondo. This is the strength 3. So again, I will want to exchange this with the magnet of strength 5, which I ordered and came in this box. So I'm going to set this down. I'm going to let the Rondo keep charging. Let's open up my magnet. Aha. So, as you can see here, I have a magnet here that has 5 little squares or diamonds. That means this is the strength 5 magnet. This is the strongest magnet that they sell. So now I have 2 different strengths of magnets that I can use. So again, I can squeeze. This might be a little harder to get out, so you might want to cut this here to get the magnet out. And the reason why it's harder is because the magnet is actually attached to a piece of steel in the back. So this one's a little harder to get out, so I'm definitely going to cut this in the back, open this, and then slide out the steel card. As you can see, this is actually a piece of steel that the magnet is attached to. So I definitely want to make sure that I use the stronger magnet because this is what's going to work better for me. Of course, everybody's different, so you can use whatever you want. We're going to go through and swap the magnets out. So I'm going to get my little handy dandy tool again. I'm going to make sure that the arrow is pointed up. Put it here. Slide this to the unlocked position. And then, see, this is magnetic, so this should be able to pull the magnet out. But in the event that it doesn't pull the magnet or it's stuck, just kind of tuck it in your hand and let it drop into your hand. So I'm going to put this magnet back on the little piece of steel here. And I want to get the stronger magnet out. So I'm going to get the stronger magnet out. Again, point the line to the unlocked position. Point it here. And that's a strong magnet. See, look. Pretty good. Okay. And, oh, one thing I want to call out before I do this. The magnet does not need to be in place in order to charge the Rondo because the battery is inside. It's a rechargeable battery. However, the Rondo will not stick to the magnet, stick to the pad because there is no magnet in it. So the magnet does help keep it in place. So again, want to make sure that this line is lined up. And again, the best thing to do is just to get to, again, point the arrow to where the line is, attach it to your little removal tool right here, and then just poke it in there. And then twist it into place, and voila, now it's in a locked position. I'm going to put it down and let it continue to charge. So here's all the documents that came in the document box. It looks like there's some product implantation data documents you definitely want to keep, user survey documents, and then of course you can send everything back to Metal to provide you input on what your experience was like, what the warranty statement is. Also, the Rondo 3, make it yours. Basically, you can personalize your Rondo, as you can see here. And you can have solid colors, or you can have all kinds of fun colors. And this is obviously not just for kids, it can be for adults alike as well. It also looks like there's a hair-colored pattern. You can find something that matches closely with your hair so it blends in with your hair a little bit, so that your Rondo looks a bit more subtle while you're wearing it. Pretty cool. Contact information, how to contact Metal. And medical procedures. Basically, these are medical procedures. It looks like MRI imaging. Um, our implants are capable of going through MRIs, which are great. And this is all the information that pertains to all the regulations and what it will tolerate. Please be sure to keep this information, because every time, and I've had an MRI done, every time you do have an MRI, they will say, oh no, we don't do MRI for folks that have cochlear implants. However, Medel is capable of going through an MRI, and this is all the medical information necessary and what Tesla level that it will tolerate as well, and the safety information. So please do keep this and take it with you anytime you need to have any sort of medical procedure or MRI taken. All right. The user manual for the audio processor, lots of information. Of course, these user manuals are also available online as PDFs. I recommend that you save those as well, because when you do download a PDF, it's also searchable. So you can search for text. For example, like if you search for tuner, right? It'll take you directly to the fine tuner portion of how to use the tuner. Or if you search for magnet, for example, you can search, it'll take you directly to the magnet section. One more thing about the charging unit here, and again, just make sure it's centered, because if you do, if you go outside this, if the top part where the light goes outside of the ring, it's not going to be charging anymore. So make sure that, this light part is inside the ring, so because that's where the battery is located. One other thing to call out is, as soon as this is done charging, this light will actually turn off. So it will basically just be like this if it's done charging. And then when you're charging it again, and again, when you put this down, be sure that this light turns on so that you are charging the battery on it. So I cannot wait to try this out. Okay, one last thing is the telecoil adapter and case. Now, again, this allows you to use the T-coil, the telecoil, for telephone calls in the event that you want to use your Rondo with that. And it's not built into the Rondo itself, because again, we have Bluetooth options with the audio link as well. Again, you compare this with Bluetooth. And then this will communicate directly with your Rondo once you've paired it with your Rondo as well. Okay, so we're going to unbox or open the telecoil adapter. Now, do not be alarmed. This is not the telecoil itself. It's rather large. As you can see, it's almost the same size as the Rondo itself. But that's not the telecoil. The telecoil adapter is inside of this really handy-dandy case. So we're going to open this. Now, where is that thing? Oh, it's inside. You have to slide this thing open. So what you do is you slide this like this, and it opens up. There you go. Then you can take it out by holding the sides like this. Now, again, this is a protective cover of the pins here, right here. So you definitely want to make sure that these pins stay protected, like this, right? Okay, so I'm going to take this out. All right, I'm going to lift up my Rondo, and let's just say that I want to use the telecoil with my Rondo. There's a protective connector at the bottom of the Rondo here. What you want to do is you want to remove the rubber cover like this, okay? And as you can see here, there's a little bit of a round notch on the front, on the top side of this. That round notch should line up to where this round notch is here on the Rondo. You put this in place like this, and click it in there, and now you have the telecoil adapter attached to the Rondo 3. Now, in order to remove it, now see, as you can see, it's secure, it's not going to go anywhere. In order to remove it, you want to push these little side buttons right here, push both of them at the same time, and remove it. Make sure you cover the pins on your Rondo 3 to protect it. And you also want to put the protective covering of the adapter itself. And then finally, you want to keep it protected in this case. Put it in here and snap it into place. And now this is locked in place. It's not going to be able to open until you put this button down to slide it open like that. So thank you for watching my unboxing the Rondo 3 processor. Really excited to try out this really cool, neat backpack that will travel with me in my travel. Handle is on the top, handle is also on the side. And again, I won't need the whole backpack just for my Rondo accessories. I can also pack a few things in it along with it, including my computer. Thank you.